So another thing we're going to do this week is we're going to actually start the artwork on this bad boy. I think, you know, I've tried different things like colors first and or just a section. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to approach this yet. I do know that you want to save black and white for probably the end, specifically white, because that's going to get, even if you've cleared over the top of it and are doing other artwork and get some on the white, if you've done it, when you try to clean that off, sometimes it just kind of seeps in. So save the white for the last. That is the biggest change that's going to happen at the end as well. I'm going to start simple, I think. I'm probably going to start with red. I'm going to vectorize this area right here. This, and then this, and also this. Actually a lot. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I'm not 100% sure if I may actually go ahead and do the red on these two parts as well, because that is actually annoying me. And what I usually do instead, you know, I do mix the colors to try to match what's on there perfectly, but a lot of times you're going to have fading from, you know, especially one that's in poor condition like this. So I usually, if I'm going to hit all the rest of this in red, I'm going to hit this in red too. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I can vectorize. My main goal, I guess, is to get this top part. And if I get any further than that, then great. And then I'm tempted after that to probably go for green because of the pop bumpers and all that. But it is a light color and it's very easy to screw that up. And I don't want to have to do that multiple times. So I don't know. We'll kind of feel this thing out, play it by ear. But that is what we're going to do. So the next step, and if you've been paying attention, there are a lot of different steps to restoring a playfield before you even get to the actual part where you're restoring a playfield. So the next step that we're going to deal with now is actually cutting out vinyl stencils, and that's what we've been working on with vectorizing graphics in Inkscape. So if you think at any point you're going to be serious about restoring playfields, or if you already, I mean, if you think you're going to do that, Silhouette Cameo is the way to go, in my opinion. This is probably single-handedly, out of all the money I've spent on different tools to get different jobs done in restoration and all that stuff, this is probably the best one that I've ever had. This is about $200 a couple of years ago. It's a Silhouette Cameo 3. They have 4s out now. I'm not sure what the difference is. I'll just look it up, but 3 does the trick for me. So basically, let me go ahead and get to it. The program that I'm using here is the Silhouette Cameo stock software. It's the Silhouette software. I went ahead and upgraded it for about $40. It was well worth it. There are a lot, it's kind of glitchy otherwise, and I don't know if they do that on purpose or whatever, but just spend the extra money. I mean, if you're going to do this, I understand it's hard to spend a buttload of money on something like this when you're not 100% sure if you're going to do it or not. That's why I say be sure you're going to do it. So what I'm going to do, I already, this blue vinyl right here, this is Oracal 813. That's what I use. I don't know what other people use, but that's what I use. This is a cutting mat. This is kind of adhesive right here. So I just put the Oracal 813 on it, and then I'm going to load it up into the Cameo. So we line it up. We line it up with the blue line on the side here. It's very loud. Go ahead and close the lid, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my settings are correct. For some reason it always goes to cardstock. So I want to go to matte vinyl. And that's it. Hit send. Let's watch this thing work. So here we are just a couple minutes later. We've got everything printed out. This is what it's going to look, well, you can't really see it very well. You can kind of see it in there. So the next thing I have to do is I have to weed this, meaning I got to take a tweezers and take all the parts that I'm going to be spraying out of this thing. So good news and bad news here, and it's the bad news if I can flip it into good news because it gives us something to troubleshoot. I've had this happen one other time, and there may be multiple reasons for it. I've got a little ghosting on the insert right here. This is something, I mean, I can easily take care of, but it could have been that I didn't scuff it enough, but I can't imagine that that would be the case because I sanded the crap out of these things before I put them up there. So it could have been the adhesion issues with the clear coat. It could have been that my Oracal 813, the blue masking stuff, was maybe too old. I've had that for over a year, so I'm just going to go ahead and err on the side of caution there and replace it. But anyway, so I've got issues like this, and again, so what I'm going to do here, just to take care of it, I'm going to cut around this ghosting part here because I don't want that in the finished thing. So I'm going to cut that piece of clear coat out, and this thing's only like a mil. It's not even the size of a dollar bill. This also gives me a good chance to show you just how thin that layer of clear coat is. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the ghosted parts here. And because there's a couple, like there's one here, 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 here. So yeah, again, usually that's something I don't usually deal with, but you know, when you deal with it, you just fix it. Here's what we got. Currently, I redid most of the red here. I did this part up here since the last video. This part over here, I just erased and redid this side over here. And this over here and this over here. Again, you know, if something comes up that is outside of the plan, that's going to happen. Just be ready for it. You know, improvise. You'll figure it out. It's normal. we have all the red done on this thing. One of the notes that I'd probably have on this, it's very, very tedious. First of all, if you haven't caught this by now, it's incredibly tedious. It's the most tedious thing you could probably think of, so patience is definitely a must. Things that are really hard, I hate doing little lettering like this, because even though I'm going to do that in white eventually, you want to preserve the original letters as much as possible. I'm going to use a little pointed Q-tip to clean up anything inside of there, just so I can, you know, not have to hit it that hard with the white when I get there. This side came out a little bit better as far as the lettering goes. So I guess we're doing it by color here. Like, again, it's just kind of flows, so we'll figure out which way it flows. And in this case, I think it's color by color. I think next time I'm probably going to go with the blue. For the most part, I like the way she turned out. As you can tell, like, everything's pretty much trashed here. So if you're looking at this saying, well, God, it still looks like crap, then my answer to you is, like, yes, definitely it looks like crap still, but it's fun to see how it all kind of shapes up. So stay tuned, and next will be blue.